only one day left until Valentine's. 1-800-Flowers.com, code HERD. Bouquet start at $29.99. So, Isaiah Thomas, 5'8" guy, chip in his shoulder, last guy drafted, easy to root for, incredible story, great in Boston, pretty average everywhere else, goes to Cleveland, and it doesn't work. Now he's a Laker, and he's already firing back at Cleveland. And he's basically talking about he loves playing for the Lakers now, one whole game. He said, you see the bench every time I was shooting in L.A. with the Lakers. They were standing up cheering. That was the feeling I had in Boston, happiness and joy. I'm happy to be in Los Angeles, to get that joy and happiness back. You see the bench every time I was shooting. They were standing up and cheering. Can I just say this? You're a little needy. I mean, seriously. The goals in Los Angeles right now are to win a game. The goals in Cleveland are slightly higher to beat the Warriors. I like you. You're a nice guy, but you know what you're becoming? You're becoming Smush Parker for Kobe. Remember Smush Parker? Went to Basketball Power Fordham, undrafted. He played for Kobe. Kobe once said, I tell Steve Nash you won the MVP, but I was playing with Smush Parker. My goodness. He was the worst. He shouldn't have been in the league, but we were too cheap to pay for a point guard. And later, Smush Parker came out and said about Kobe, I refused to pass him the ball. He was not a good teammate. Oh, heavens. You're Smush Parker. Isaiah, I like you. You're 5'8". You grew up in the part of the country Chris and I both grew up in. I am rooting for you. I am a fan of you. The story about your sister, I want you to succeed. Don't become Smush Parker. Here's the thing about basketball that's tricky, and it's always been tricky. Football as a sport is about roles, and they're defined. The quarterback touches the ball every snap. The left tackle blocks every snap. There are roles in football. Cornerbacks cover receivers. Receivers go out for passes. There are defined roles in football, but it's tougher in basketball. Who are the four best players of all time? One of them's a center, Wilt. One of them's a forward, LeBron. One of them's a point guard, Magic. One of them's a shooting guard, Michael Jordan. Roles aren't as defined in basketball, and so guys come into the NBA, and basketball's always been about kind of worship, AAU, high school. Football's kind of about the shield. So for a lot of basketball players, they have to define their own role, and this is tough. Now, George Hill, a veteran, 12-point-a-game guy, goes to the Cavs, and here's what George Hill says his role is with LeBron.
Just do your job, I guess. Let the rest take care of itself. We have one of the best players in the history of the game. So, I mean, I'm sure he's going to dictate the tempo and things like that, and we just got to do our job, be the best role players we can possibly be. He's the Batman, and we got to be all Robin, so we got to figure it out.
So, veteran George Hill understood, I am Robin, you're Batman. The problem being that Isaiah Thomas, LeBron wasn't cheering for me. And he struggled to define his role. And now he looks needy.
You know what this is, Colin? This is, a classic case, since I make analogies to relationships all the time because I'm very good at them. That's a joke. It's the prom queen, right? LeBron James dumped Isaiah Thomas, and then Isaiah Thomas is like, well, she wasn't that pretty anyways. It's like you're defensive because when you're rejected, you get defensive, and now all of a sudden you start coming up with all these different excuses. It's like, just say, hey, it was a nice run, enjoyed my short stint there, and then keep it moving. I think that says more about you. And I like Isaiah Thomas.
So
I covered him in college. I have nothing. This is not an indictment on him. It's just
if you think about the NBA, you know what it is? There's 7 Batmans and 288 Robins. And by the way, there's about 4 Butlers. But there's only about 7 guys in this league. Kobe was one, Magic was one, Bird was one, Duncan was one. About 7 Batmans in this league. Everybody else is Robin or the Butler. And it's
not Jimmy Butler, but
the Butler. And it's very difficult because in football, when you play it as a kid, you know your role. You are a left tackle. I block for the more important player. I'm the quarterback. I touch the ball. Basketball is different. There have been a lot of great players that were point guards, a dominating player at center, small forward, shooting guard. So you have to define your roles. And guys come into this sport, and like Isaiah Thomas, and they have a good year, and they suddenly, it's blurred. Like, what is my role on this team? Dude, your role is Robin, LeBron is Batman. And I think Isaiah Thomas for an hour forgot that. And now he's like, man, when I play for the Lakers, they're cheering me. Dude, you come across as incredibly needy. This is not Boston with Brad Stevens, where they were in the middle of a rebuild and they needed points from you every day. And this is not Cleveland that wants to get to a next level and beat the Warriors. The Lakers are a young team. You're there for 1 year.
I was going to say, what is his role? Yeah.
His role is right now to come off the bench, bring some energy, fill up the stat sheet, have fun. You're not here for the future. Nobody thinks you're a long-term guy. Be a good teammate, but don't take shots at Cleveland. They have a different standard. You struggled to deal with what your role is, and veteran George Hill, to his credit, has come in and said, oh, yeah, I know what my role is. My role is I'm Robin. That's Batman. 28 minutes a night, 13 points. Guys, once again, 1 day left. 1-800-Flowers.com. Starts at $29.99. Beautiful bouquets. You go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click on the radio icon, and as always, it is HERD. Coming up next, Lonzo Ball. Is his future in L.A. fuzzy at best? And who would be interested in acquiring him next?